and they were roommates.
God, they were roommates.
Welcome back, Roomies. We are happy to be chit-chatting back today. Hopefully everyone has been having a decent week so far. How are my fellow Roomies doing?
Surviving.
Love it. That's all we can try to do at this point, honestly.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it through.
Yeah,
Life
I feel
is
like
kicking our butts.
Yeah, I feel like
Continuously.
the intro to Good Times, scratching and surviving. Good times.
Yes.
That's what's going in my head. Also, like at any given time, my brain is literally either the gif of Elmo on the toilet where he's like moving around all happy, or it's like the monkey with the cymbals just going boom, boom. That's literally my life right now. That's my brain. Live look inside my brain.
That's valid. Yeah, like Courtney's recovering from surgery. You guys are both still like unemployed. Work is kicking my butt.
Life. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Like
I just had my birthday. I guess that's a positive.
A year older.
28?
28?
28?
It's pretty much the same as 27 so far.
Except she gets to enjoy Cold Stone ice cream cakes, so.
True.
That's a plus.
But, yeah.
Well, you're getting more beautiful. You're aging like fine wine.
Oh.
Thank you. I still get carded if all my tattoos are covered.
Same though. Like I'm about to be 30 and I still get carded.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I was looking back at pictures and there's a picture of me when I went to Ireland for the first time. And I was 20. I think I was 20 at the time because I hadn't turned 21 yet. But of course I could drink over there. There's a picture of me in like the Guinness brewery with a pint of Guinness. I literally look like I'm 10 years old. And I'm like, how did they serve me alcohol? Anytime I look at the picture, I'm like, I look like a legitimate child. Like,
that was so cute.
I was like, did we have to show our IDs before we went on the tour? Like,
I was curious.
Why did anybody serve me alcohol?
They're just checking your passports.
I think that they did. I think they checked it beforehand. And then you went through it. Maybe we got like a stamp on our hand or something. But yeah, I was like, how did I get served?
Who? Is this allowed?
I look back at the picture. I'm like, I look so little. Like,
that's so cute.
It's wild.
Probably compare it to the gigantic pint of Guinness too.
Yeah, I'll have to post it. I'll post it on our socials.
Yeah.
But today we are not talking about traveling to Ireland. Today we're talking about traveling to the Maldives, which we did as a group just about a year ago. We got back on my birthday last year, or the day before my birthday, because then I flew home on my birthday. We were in Paradise for a week. We were together as a group for 13 days. Best 13 days I've had in a long time.
Yeah. Genuinely some of the best 13 days of my life.
So yeah, we figured we'd dive into that and tell you all about our fun times with the Maldives, from our long flight that had drunk guys fighting to the turtle that we befriended to just lounging in the sun, drinking mango juice and reading books. So
does not just guys fighting. We had that one guy, that one family get kicked off.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah, before we even took off.
Wild time.
Honestly, like the 1 year anniversary of this trip lining up with us just being in the worst moods and modes.
From where we were last year to where we are this year, I would love to go back to last year.
It's such a downhill decline. It's like a steep decline.
Like
being on top of the world to being in the pits of hell.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good stuff that's come out of the last year, but it'd be nice to just be in that uplifted mood, ready to not deal with work for 13 days, be with my best friends for 13 days in a new country. Like,
it was great.
It sounds incredible.
Actual paradise.
Yeah.
But I guess before we talk about that, I guess we could kind of mention how we got there. So we're not all we're not influencers, and we don't have big pockets.
There was an influencer
money.
on our trip, though. At the resort. God. We can talk about that.
Oh,
yikes! She was the most cringiest person in the world.
Yeah. Oh my God. From the moment we spotted her.
Yes. I want to give a shout out to Stephanie, our travel agent, for helping us put the trip together and stuff. And definitely recommend her, but please don't go to her too much, because I still want to have good prices, and and she still works with us on things, so chill. But yeah, Stephanie was awesome. We had a travel agent put everything together, and we went in a fairly large group. But getting there was amazing. Everything was kind of taken care of for us, because we wouldn't have the brain cells to put together something insane as a trip to the Maldives. So gotta give credit where credit's due, because that was a lot of organizing for that trip, and I couldn't imagine doing it by myself.
Yeah, she's real good at her job. I'll link her Soul to Wander stuff below if you want to check out stuff that she's got going on. We're actually going with another group of hers next fall to Edinburgh, and then we're going to go to, a couple places in Scotland, then we're going to go to London, which will be really fun. Yeah. But I figured for those people who maybe don't know where the Maldives is located, I'd give a little location breakdown. So the Maldives is located in the Indian Ocean and is southwest of Sri Lanka and India. We had to pass over the equator. We got these little certificates on the plane for passing the equator, which was really cool.
It's framed in my living room.
Love that. I haven't framed mine yet. But yeah, we got to stay at the resort, and it was great. I think we went in March, but we booked 2 Septembers before, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a long time.
But it was nice, because then with Stephanie and going as the group and everything, we got to do a payment plan. So it was, a couple, I think it was $150 a month for the months leading up. It really wasn't that bad when it was all broke down. Flights were taken care of, everything was sorted. And I think we ended up kind of being, I would say, 2/3 of the resort, our group.
Oh, yeah.
Was 2/3 of the resort while we were there, which was really cool. So, we made friends with people, and, we, of course, were seeing the same people, and we got to travel, with the same 2 people. So, that made it really nice. We all flew into LAX the day before, right? Or Courtney's in LA.
I'm in LA.
Kaylee and I flew into LA the day before, hung out so that then we could leave the next day all together.
Yeah, it was really cool, because I got to stay at my house. And then we got my mom. Did we get my mom to take us to the airport?
Yeah, probably.
Shout out to Shauna.
She's always our little chauffeur. And she picked us up too, so that was great.
Yes.
So yeah, we got to kind of stay at my house before and after, just to kind of debrief, hang out, and relax a little bit before we went on the journey. I don't know if you have it pulled up, Meaghan, but to get there is quite a bit of a feat. Yes. There's about 2 to 3 planes and a speedboat ride.
That was exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure how long was it. It was over 20 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I think our flight from LA to Qatar was 16 hours?
16. Yep.
Yep. And then we went from Qatar to the Maldives.
Yeah.
And then
because they've got one main airport.
Yeah. And then we took a little hopper flight from the main island to the island that was closest to our resort. And then we took a speedboat ride from that little island to the resort.
The actual resort island. Yeah, it was a lot.
It was crazy too, because it was 16-hour flight, 4-hour flight, just over an hour on that last hopper.
Yeah.
And then the speedboat was 20, 25 minutes.
They had to stop me from jumping in the water when we were at the speedboat, because I was like, I don't even care. I just need...
The water was so pretty.
And we had been through so many different time zones. The Maldives is 12 hours ahead of Pacific Standard Time. So it was quite the adjustment there. And then being in steel tubes flying for that long and eating airplane food. We were hot. We were tired. Yeah. Meaghan was like,
absolutely insane.
Meaghan was like, I'm gonna just swim to the island. We were like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, I'll meet you there.
We'll be there in just a few minutes.
Like that wait for the speedboat was like crazy too, because we were in this building with no AC, and it was all very like just open, and we were just like, can we just jump in the water? Like, let's just jump in the water.
Yeah.
So the waits between like the flights and the speedboat was just like insane, because once you got to, you know, the Middle East, it was like heat like you've never imagined heat before.
Yeah.
It was like being in an oven almost. Like convection oven. Like it was real. I can't even describe it. I've never felt that kind of heat before.
It was a permanent sauna.
Yeah. And I thought like, I'm from LA, I can handle it. It gets pretty hot here. No.
Courtney was like,
degrees.
This is too much.
Yeah,
it was
like
what
degrees,
I think the low was like 85 and
80.
the high was 93. Like there was only like a 6 to 7 degree difference between the high and the low.
Yeah. And that was like every single day.
And you're so close to the equator, it's very direct sun. So when we were outside, it was like hats, umbrellas, sunscreen.
I got the best sleep of my life there because the heat just took it. Like there was one night I slept through a whole storm, and I guess the girls were up like freaking out because it was windy and raining, and I didn't wake up at all.
Yeah, it was so loud that entire storm, and it was still so hot out. I was like, why is it so hot everywhere? I remember going, like, being so excited to dip my feet in the water and like cool off, and then I did it, and the water felt like bath water, and I wanted to cry.
Yeah,
I was like, why is the water not even cold? Like, it was no relief.
Yeah, the pool even was like bath water, and it felt better than just being dry on land. But we were like, God, it would. Like, we need a little refreshment. The shower was outside, so even then you're like, if I do cold water,
shower.
That was a nice little like hub.
It was cool to do like a cold kind of water shower and then be outside, because then it's like a nice little, like, at least you feel cool a little bit.
An attempt at coolness. So it was cool. We like got to the resort. They were pretty well organized considering the size of group. So we were kept, it was like, okay, like keep in your clumps of the people you're staying with, and then we'll hand out, you know, key cards and information and all that good stuff. They took our luggage to our villas, so there wasn't like lugging around wheeled suitcases on sand, which was really kind. And we got there.
That resort. That resort was really cool. It was very, really great, like, people working there.
Very kind people. We learned a lot about them, especially it was Ramadan. So we learned a lot about like how some of the employees on the island spent the holiday, what kind of their traditions were like, especially with the heat. It's like they're surviving out there with nothing for 12 hours of direct sun a day. It's crazy. They were very kind.
A lot of them didn't live on the island too, so they'd have to take speedboats back. Which was wild.
People's families lived on one of the other islands, and they'd commute by boat every day or every couple days. It was like really cool to see a different culture, meet other people.
Everyone was so sweet. They're just willing to kind of like chat and like have a good time, which I was all for. Especially when it came to like food or just anything. Like, they were just like, yeah, what you need? And I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, because obviously, like, you don't want to ask too much of people, but they are so accommodating and just like great. So different from like what you would expect in like America or like some other countries that are just like a little bit more, I guess, aggressive about things. Especially America, at least.
Yeah, it was very cool. Like the dining, it was like fresh cooked in front of you. So you'd be standing there waiting for your food. They'd like small talk with you. We had assigned tables in the dining area as well. So then we had the same waiter or waitress. I guess waiter, is it gender neutral? But you'd usually see the same person who served you like breakfast, lunch, and dinner beverages or anything extra you might need to accommodate. And our waitress was so cool.
She was on it with the ice.
She was always bringing us ice so that we could fill our bottles. And she was, I think, like pretty close to our age. So we would ask her kind of like just about life. And she was wearing Jordans most of the time, which was cool as hell.
There was one morning because I, as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was out. Like, I slept very good, but then I was up very early. So I think pretty much every day I was the first one in the dining hall because I was like, I'm going to get breakfast, read my book, and then I'm going to go get us spots by the pool.
I think I remember waking up and Meaghan being like dressed and headed out and like, okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I was like, I'm gonna get food, see you later. Courtney was like, okay.
We'd be like, good morning. 6:30.
But I think it was the day after the storm. I'm like sitting, eating my like fruit and my waffle and reading my book, and she comes up and she's like, excuse me? And I was like, she's like, I don't want to bother you. And I was like, no, like, what's going on? And she's like, there's dolphins outside. And so like me and all of the workers are like standing out the windows watching these dolphins because of the storm. The tide was in way higher than it had been in the couple days we had been there. And so it was so sweet. She like came and she's like, I don't want, like, you're reading. And I was like, no, like, this is so cool. So we like all stood there since it was just us in the dining room and like watched these dolphins. It was pretty cool.
There's dolphins about. It's not bother.
Yeah. No, please tell me about the dolphins.
I can't remember. We like asked her a couple things just about like her life and stuff.
You're so sweet.
That whole like, what was it? Palms?
Yeah,
South Palms.
South Palms, like
resort. Yeah,
10 out of 10 recommend. All the employees were so kind and hardworking, and
they make some bomb ass food.
They do.
I think about the like little noodle stir fries.
Ooh, the teppanyaki.
Yes.
I think about the dessert room.
And the dessert room.
Often.
Yeah.
They had this little room every lunch and then every dinner where it was a little, I don't even know like the best way to describe it. Just this
like a little refrigerated room.
Yeah, where they just had all these different desserts. And so, and they were typically cut into just like one or two bites. And so we'd go in and we'd all like try the different ones that we wanted. And then we'd sit at the table and be like, oh, what did you think of this one? Felt like we were on Top Chef judging different things.
What it reminds me of? It reminds me of like how like it was cut in those little like, when you would go get tea, like high tea, like those little types of cakes, and like you walk in the room and it's like a bunch of just like shelves and like I guess what are they called? Dress like
tiers.
Not dressers, but I guess shelves. Shelves.
Yeah.
Or tables. And it's all just filled with this cute little desserts, and like they even had ice cream at some point, and it was just nice to stand in there too because it was like the only air conditioned place.
Yeah, it was the coolest room on the island. Temperature
and the salad room too. They had like a little salad room.
Yeah, the salad room too.
That was nice.
Yeah, in the morning the dessert room was filled with like fruit and stuff. So that was
yogurt.
That was nice to go get yogurt or things.
Yeah, it was great because all of like our base meals were included in the resort, which helped a lot too. So like when we planned this trip with Stephanie, it was like all inclusive. All you have to do is like plan your own flight to the flight hub that I choose for your group. And so it was like flights, room, food, everything was covered in like an inclusive space, which was great. And then there was like a menu of extra beverages and particular snacks if you wanted to like pay for food to your room or buy alcoholic drinks or whatever.
But like a lot of alcoholic drinks were covered too.
Yeah, it was so hot though. Like we barely drank.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the people there in our group were drinking, but I was like, it's too hot. Like I can't. I need this mango juice on tap, please.
Yeah, we were just trying to like not dehydrate too much or pass out at 2 p.m.
I was like
90 degrees.
We waited for this for over a year. I'm not gonna be hungover.
Nope.
And ruin it in the freaking heat.
Yeah.
Imagine being hungover in that, like, ugh. Oh, fuck. Never.
I would
die.
But speaking of drunk people, I think we should take it back.
Let's take it back to our flight
journey.
there.
Yeah. I'll let you guys talk about the drunkenness.
Well,
I only caught a little bit of it, and it was a nightmare.
yeah.
And then I'll talk about the family because they were literally sitting right next to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of crazy because we flew out of LAX, and it was great because there was like plenty of space, and like it was super easy boarding. We were on some big ass planes
next to each other though, which was sad.
Yeah, that was kind of
our
bummer.
seats. Like none of our flights, we were at least assigned next to each other. I think a couple of them we were able to maneuver and at least be close by, but like I would be over in one window seat, Meaghan was in another, and Courtney was like a few rows up, and so we would kind of like make eyes at each other going to the bathroom or whatever, but we were kind of on our own because it was like full flights too.
Yeah,
they were packed flights.
Yeah, and so like I think they were even closer to Meaghan. I was just watching movies, and then there was commotion. Like that's all I remember.
Yeah, we didn't get the full story until we got there. And so what I remember from being on the flight and kind of trying to put pieces together, because then, of course, you know, we're all stuck together. So everyone by the bathrooms, like, gossiping about what they know and, you know, what they heard the flight attendants talking about. So what I knew on the flight was that these guys were together. And one of the guys was really drunk and was mad because the guy in front of him leaned his seat back too far. And so then this drunk guy and the guy in front of him kind of got into it. So that's originally what I saw. And this was probably 2, maybe 3 hours into the flight, I want to say. It felt kind of early on. Yeah. And then toward the tail end of the flight, before we landed in Qatar, these two guys who were traveling together, it seemed, both of them are very drunk. And then they start arguing with one another. And putting hands on one another. And it doesn't get super physical, but like it gets physical enough that they're like pushing a little bit. And so people look like the flight attendants are trying to separate the two of them. And we ended up, when we landed in Qatar, we like got off the flight and we were all trying to like meet up in this little hallway area before you'd enter the full airport. You know, there's kind of that little jet bridge spot, but it wasn't a jet bridge. It was like actually the inside of the airport, but not the airport, if that makes sense. So we were kind of waiting together so that we could all meet up and then try to go find Wagamama's, which is where we wanted to eat. That was a whole thing. And so we're standing there, and there's a couple other people that like we had met a little bit who we knew were also going to be in like our group going to the Maldives, and we're part of the travel group. And then all of a sudden this airport employee is like, you guys need to leave, you guys need to keep going, you need to keep moving. And it was kind of odd, but I didn't think much of it until we then heard later from one of the other people in our travel group who said those guys were getting arrested. And so they were trying to clear that area because, you know, they didn't want a whole scene of these two guys being, you know, pulled off the plane and then arrested. And so it sounds like they were sneaking up into first class or some area where there was just alcohol sitting, pouring themselves drinks the entire 16-hour flight.
And that's what I saw because I was up a bit further in the plane. Yeah. And we had there was a bar cart just sitting kind of like in the front. And what I saw was these guys kept going over to the flight attendant asking for more alcohol. And she was saying no. And they're kind of like flirting with her and being really obnoxious. And trying to like, I guess, flirt their way into more alcohol. And she was just like, no, like you're cut off.
I wonder why.
You could tell they're super fucking wasted. And so I remember just watching them like sneak drinks off the little cart and like go into the little area where they prepare the food and stuff. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And so the flight attendants had to like keep shooing them away. And so that's what I remember from them, is them being like really obnoxious to the flight attendant. Poor flight attendants have to deal with that.
I know.
And then like sneaking drinks. And I would see them kind of like walking by every so often being obnoxious.
And then there would be periods where they would like pass out in their seats.
Yeah.
And then wake up, start talking and like talk loud. And it's a flight. I think we left like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
LA time. So it was like kind of turning into a red eye type situation. So it's dark on the plane. We're trying to sleep. They'd be talking hella loud because they woke up after a couple hours. Then they'd want more alcohol. It just was a whole back and forth.
Yeah.
It was.
And then just like walking
it.
really hard. They're just like, I just remember them constantly going back and forth. I'm like, bro, sit the fuck down. I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, and apparently some of the flight attendants had been talking about how, because most of the time, of course, we were flying over water. So there was nowhere for us to land to get them off. But supposedly, some of the flight attendants said that if there had been a place for us to land, we would have diverted.
Yeah.
And we would have landed at a different spot. And then like that, which I would have felt so bad for Stephanie to have to then figure that out for all. Because I don't know like how that works. Like, would everybody have to deplane?
Did they? Yeah.
Like I have no idea how that would have worked. Thank goodness we didn't have to go through that. But yeah, so that was the very start of our trip. Was these two drunk guys getting arrested when we landed in Qatar. Then started our journey of trying to find the Wagamamas. We looked up beforehand. We had about a 4-hour layover in Qatar, and so we were like, let's figure out where we want to go.
Qatar or Qatar?
Qatar.
Is it Qatar?
Yeah, it's supposed to be pronounced Qatar.
Oh, okay. I go back and forth. I'm like, I hear it pronounced both ways, but I don't know. But okay.
So I think we had like a 4-hour layover. So we were like, let's beforehand see where we want to go, and we'll do like kind of a sit down dinner since we'll have time. And we saw that they have Wagamamas, which Courtney and I loved when we were in London, and we took Kaylee to when she came to visit. Absolutely delicious.
A1 delicious food. Try it if you have one near you. Like, please.
If you have one near you, I'm jealous because
yes,
I would eat chicken katsu curry all the time, and the ramen.
I love the Donburi balls.
They're so good, and the little shrimp lollipops.
Yes, the shrimp lollipops are everything.
I love the shrimp lollipops.
Yeah, it's this really great like ramen chain, and we were like, food that we recognize. Let's hunt it down and enjoy.
And we had to. We like got off and we're like, let's bathroom first, and then we'll find a map. We'll figure out where this thing is.
That airport is like the size of a small town.
Let me tell you though. Let me tell you, it's still smaller than the terminals in Denver.
Oh, Denver's wild.
Really?
Oh,
that's so
Denver
crazy.
is the longest place, longest airport terminal I've ever been in.
That's insane.
Yeah,
and I'm marking it off my list.
Like never. Yeah,
Doha was long, but they didn't have as many people movers as Denver does. So I guess I will say that.
That's true. Yeah. But the ambiance was like,
it was
cool. We walked
gorgeous.
Through a forest that was inside.
Yeah. They had like all these designer like stores that you could go in and buy stuff, like Prada and like
Gucci. There was definitely a couple Gucci stores.
And it was bananas. But so we thought that the Wagamamas was on this one side of the airport. So we walked all over this one area thinking that we had kind of done this whole one section, and then we didn't realize that there was even more past that. So that's where the Wagamamas ended up being. But we, of course, thought that we had done that whole spot. So then we were like, well, clearly then it must be on the other side of the airport. So then we walked all the way to the other side of the airport where there's more shopping, it kind of seemed like. That was where, a lot of the...
They were selling actual cars. They had cars for sale in this airport.
It was wild. They had this big giant bear thing that we took a picture with that was kind of cool. So we were like, let's just ask someone. And so we get all the way to the other end of the airport, and this woman goes, oh no, it's all the way down there. And we were like, what?
Keep in mind, we had to take little like trains to get to one side to the other because we couldn't walk it. It was like, what are they called?
It's like trams, I guess.
Yeah,
shuttles, kind of.
Yeah. They were cool, but
it was
unnecessarily long.
It was insane.
Yeah, so we got all spun around trying to find the Wagamamas. We found it. We sat down. We ate. It was good. That was where like the little rainforesty jungle thing was.
It was so fun walking through there. It was like mist. They really went all out. It was actual like real plants and stuff. They had like a waterfall. It felt like really nice because we'd been in a tube and then also in an airport, so we just needed some fresh air. And for some reason, it felt like walking into like a biodome of fresh air. It was so nice. People were asleep in it, but apparently, like, they kept getting moved because you're not supposed to sleep in the forest. But it seems like the perfect place to sleep, honestly.
It was beautiful. I was so impressed with that.
They had the airport was just like amazing. They even had like an Oreo store, and so I got a sliced Oreo cheesecake, and it was delicious. I look at that picture every so often.
Yeah, it was great. I think though that was like the kind of craziest airport, like the transfer experience, because both flights into and out of there, we had to like take a shuttle, or we were like out on the tarmac getting off of these planes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it just like, it felt kind of chaotic. Our flight back home out of that airport, we could not bring on like full water bottles. There was security to walk, to like pass through and get through. And so some of the regulations was really interesting.
It was insane. Because I'm like, I
kind of into and out of that space
here.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, if you buy something in the airport, you can take it on the plane because you bought it in the airport. It's been through TSA. It's been through security. Yeah. But I think I was the one who bought. I think I bought like a soda or something, and they're just like, no, you have to go
like
through
we had to go
round.
through an extra bit of security at the gate.
Yeah,
which was
to get
bizarre.
On the plane.
Yeah,
you had to go through another round of TSA.
Yeah, we had to dump our water bottles we had just filled. Like, it was
it was so
just
funny.
like a kind of a culture shock, I guess, because of just the regulations that they had in place.
It was because it's a dry country, so like even if you had liquor, I guess they're just like, no, you can't bring that in, which is understandable. But like, they didn't have a place for you to dump your water, so you had to just drink it. And I was like, what do you mean I have to gulp this down? They're just like, we don't have a place. I was like, what do you want me to do? And the guy was like, I don't know. And so I tried to gulp it down as best I could. I was like, is this good enough? He's like, no, it has to be done. And so thank goodness for George being next to me.
Oh yeah.
We met George on the trip. He's amazing. He was friends with Meaghan's mom, but he's like, here, I'll drink it. And I was like, thank you. And he like
downed that.
He was like, challenge accepted.
It was insane. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like a second, and it was like pretty much half full because I had tried to chug it myself. I couldn't. I failed miserably. And then he took it and it was gone in a second. He's like, there you go. I was like, what the hell? Well, great, thank you. But how did you do that?
Yeah. So anyway, it was a really cool like first stop. We took some photos. We had a good solid meal after some of the airplane food.
Yeah. Got all comfy.
And it was good to, even though we did walk a lot trying to find the Wagamamas, I think it was good that we moved after being on a 16-hour flight and then having another 4-hour flight after that. We did, I feel like we did good getting kind of a good stretch in.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Even though it kind of sucked because we had like our carry-ons and stuff, but like it was much needed. Especially getting, I think just the prize of getting a Wagamamas was everything we needed.
Oh my gosh, and the bag. I just remembered the bag situation where people like packed way too much and it was too heavy. Yeah. And then they tried to blame us. And I was like, bitch, I only brought a carry-on. Like,
we all
don't be trying to tell me that our room is overweight by 30 pounds. Yeah. Like
we're like, we all have carry-ons. Don't even come to me. Yeah. But there was some people on our trip, we won't name names, that did get checked bags, and they were like a couple, and they had probably
human sized
3 bags. Yeah.
Like
huge.
We each could have fit in those.
Well, and it was funny because, so, you know, we like, it was a couple days before we left, and we had gotten a message from Stephanie that for whatever reason, our bags are being singled out as the bags that were overweight. So we owe X amount of money because of the bag situation. And I was like, that's not correct. You can come look at our bags. We have a scale. I think Courtney brought her little hand scale thing. I was like, none of our bags are even over 30 pounds, let alone 50 pounds. So go talk to somebody else because it's not us. And then when we left, everyone had to get their bags weighed. And so Stephanie was at the airport with us, seeing whose bag was overweight when we were leaving.
Yeah.
And those people then had to pay more. And she was like, oh, I see. Like, now that I'm seeing everyone with their bags, it's very easy to see who the culprit overweight is.
And it was wild because no one would come forward and say that, like, oh, yeah, my bags were overweight. And it's like, babe, you know that this is going on. Like, your bags are overweight.
Yeah.
We were sent, like, Stephanie was super thorough with the planning and keeping us informed as the trip came closer. And one of the things was like, okay, here's the itinerary. Here are the airlines we are on. Here are the, like, actual, like,
size,
planes we're going to be on, which means there's going to be weight limits as we make jumps from bigger planes to smaller planes to speedboats. And I was like, great, we can work with that. All we had to pack were swimsuits and, like, cover-ups.
Basically, because we needed cover-ups to go into the dining hall.
I was, like, so thorough because I was like, okay, I'm not getting charged for extra weight. And also because, like, if this isn't in my possession, we are on 3 different planes in a speedboat. I'm not losing any of my stuff if I check it. Because if you check your bags, like, you don't know what's going to be happening. So I was meticulously weighing my shit constantly because I knew that they were going to be strict. And even then, I still had to, like, maneuver some stuff to get on. I think it was, like, that last, like, tiny plane. They're like, no, it's different. And I was like, God damn. So I still had to, like, maneuver a little stuff. Thanks to Meaghan for helping me out because that was a nightmare.
I got you.
But, like, even then, I was like, that's insane. So for them to be like, your bags are overweight, I was like,
we were like,
no.
I was like, I don't know who this message was supposed to be sent to, but I know for sure it was not us.
It was not us. And poor Stephanie was like, I know it's not you, but they're saying it's you.
Well, so we'll go back a little bit so we can set up for the chaos that was the Malé airport. So we are in Doha. We get on our flight from Doha to Malé, which is about a 4-hour flight. It wasn't super bad. Courtney was able to come sit by me since I had a whole row to myself. Yay. So her and I sat. I ended up chatting with George pretty much the entire flight, which was fine.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, I don't want to sleep anyway. I'd rather just, like, push through and sleep really good tonight. But so we get to Malé. It's sunny. It's great. We are put in this little, like, outdoor seating area, and you can go upstairs, and they have, like, a KFC and a little like Pizza Hut, I think it was. It was like a combination KFC Pizza Hut thing. There was, like, drinks and a little restaurant area. So we all, like, went into the bathroom, since we had our carry-ons with us, changed into comfortable, lightweight clothing.
Because it was hot as hell.
Because it was hot. Yeah. And so we were like, let's go get comfortable. We, like, had drinks inside. It was cool. Then we went out and we're waiting. And so then the time comes that we're kind of supposed to be getting ready to board a little bit. So they bring us across the street. They have us weigh all of our bags and then just leave them in this little section. Then we're sent like, upstairs into this waiting room in kind of like the main airport, like, terminal, I guess you could say. So we've got Wi-Fi in there. We're sitting talking with Dawn and George, who are friends of my mom. My mom was also on the trip with a couple of her friends. So it was nice. We knew a good bit of people there. So it ended up being a really fun time. But
they had complimentary refreshments too, which was really good. So shout out to them.
They did. They had, like, a bathroom. It was cool inside. Felt good. So we were just kind of hanging out, waiting for them to come get us. And then our flight is kind of continuously being delayed.
Yeah.
Because of the issues with the baggage, which we didn't know about till later, that's why the flight was delayed. But that, you know, they're like, it was what, like $250 more because of the weight than like what they had quoted Stephanie.
Budgeted.
So she's already at the resort trying to talk with the airline, getting everything figured out. Thank goodness. She ended up just, like, paying it up front.
Having to
front it so that we can get on the flight to get there. And then she's like, I'll just figure it out later. So that all goes. We leave a little bit late, but like Kaylee said, it was only about a 45-minute flight, I think. And that flight was really cool because it was 2-person, you know, it was like 4 people across, so 2 people on one side, then the little island, and 2 people. And we were over water the whole time, just flying over like, all these little islands.
Daytime, so beautiful.
They did like a whole announcement when we flew over the equator, which was really cool. They like played music, and I was like, what the heck is going on?
And they passed out the certificates, and I was like, how do they know my name?
Yeah,
and
like our names
Haley
were
for
on
this
them.
part.
It was
I
really
was like,
cool.
what the hell? Oh, no, that was on the way back. Never mind. Well, me and Kaylee were sitting together on the way back, but the way there, I think we were all still kind of like separated. But I ended up making friends with like who I was sitting next to, and we were all just like, wow.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
I was lucky I got a window on the way there. And so I was just like in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, look at all the water. I was like, I can't wait to swim. Like,
same.
So we land, we get like our baggage, whatever, and then we wait. We have to take these little like golf cart type things to the speedboat area.
Oh yeah, that's when I fell.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh
yeah, I fucked up my knee.
I totally forgot about that.
I'm sorry.
I tipped over like a little turtle. My bag was like
because your bag was your bag.
Who tipped you over? Was it Phyllis? It was literally.
Well, it was like that little rock wall, right?
Yeah, and the
we had to
poor
climb over a little rock
worker,
wall.
who I think it was the driver, was like, "Oh my god!" It was like,
and
Courtney was just like, "Stop calling attention to me, please!" Like,
let's get this backpack off me so I can get up.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Blood on my back.
Like
fell right down.
Considering like what our last day had been like, we were dying laughing.
Yeah,
because it was just like
my whole leg was covered in like dirt and like little scabs. I was like, I'm fine, I'm okay. And I was like limping the entire time.
So we get on the little speedboat. We take the 20-minute ride, and then we're finally at the resort. Which
but wait, getting on the speedboat was like a little struggle because we had to like they had to like help us on to step on it. There wasn't like a little like bridge or anything.
Yeah.
And that was a struggle because I seriously thought I was going to twist an ankle because I'd already fallen.
Like, I already fallen.
Yeah.
And I was like, just take the backpack and I can maneuver. And they were so sweet because they were holding on to me. I was like, babe, if I tip over into the
they're
water,
like, this one's a fall risk. Keep an extra eye.
They had a couple people help me and I felt like bad, but then I was like, no, fuck that. I need some help.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
finally got to the resort. We got all checked in, found our room. The 3 of us roomed together. We had the beachfront like room,
villa,
whatever it was called. So we were
beautiful room
right on the beach. There was was it a king size bed or queen size bed?
Oh, it was a king.
It was a king size bed. It was a king size bed, and then there was a little cot like against the wall. I took the cot just because I'm the shortest, and so I feel like that's fair.
Fun size.
I fit perfect. It was great. Like Michael Scott when he sleeps on his little bench at the foot of the bed.
Little ottoman.
He fits perfect. This is my bed.
Me and Kaylee shared a bed. It was a huge bed, so we didn't even like touch in the night, no matter like what we did. It was really cool, but it was a brick. It was very
hard.
Yeah, but it was some really comfy pillows though. The pillows are nice and soft.
Like Meaghan was saying, like the sun took it out of us so much I barely noticed. Like you'd first get in the bed and try to get comfy, and then we'd just knock out.
Die because it was just.
I don't even think I had the opportunity to get comfy. I think I laid down and my body was like cut.
No matter what, we'd always be like, "What's Meaghan? Did you do this? Blah blah blah." And we look over and she's like asleep already. We're like, damn, we were mid-conversation.
Didn't she also talk in her or laugh in her sleep? Or that was you?
Did I?
That was me.
That was Courtney.
I was like laughing in my sleep. I was having a great time.
Oh, that's right. She was.
Yeah, Courtney was talking and laughing in her sleep. Meaghan slept through the storm. I don't know what I did, but
nobody was awake.
You were having a good sleep too. I remember waking up a couple times before you, and I was like, "Damn, look at me being early."
yeah, that's huge. Yeah, so it was a nice room. We had like a sliding door with a little patio and furniture, with
private
like chaise lounges. We could walk down like a couple hundred feet down to the beach, or down to the like right into the water.
Yeah, it was like that song from High School Musical, Fabulous by Sharpay. That's what I felt like.
Yes.
Endless days in my shades, the whole world according to moi. That was us.
We had a really great big bathroom and then a little outside space that had a shower. So we would like rinse off and shower out there, and
leave
it
our
was like
swimsuits.
all we needed because we were not in the room really except for
we had a
sleeping.
huge vanity too, like a huge like closet vanity area, which was like so nice to like unpack. I never unpack on trips, but this time like we all kind of like
took a couple drawers and stuff. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was so nice to like kind of like move into a spot that we know we were going to be in for a while and like have all the space and hang up stuff. We had like hangers in the closet. It was so cool.
It's so
put our
many
makeup
swimsuits
out, even though we didn't use any of it.
Yeah. So then
couldn't
we just
even put on lipstick. It was just too hot for anything.
No, fuck. Yeah, and then we just spent 7 days. So it was Friday to Friday, doing nothing pretty much. We would wake up,
hanging out by the pool,
eat breakfast. Shout out to our pool guy. I wish I could remember his name.
I've been trying to think of what his name was.
He would get to know kind of who the group was that was there. So he'd save pool spots for us before we were even there for the day, which was very kind. Especially one like seats with umbrellas.
I will say, if you go places, listen to what people say in terms of tipping people, because if you tip them, they will go the extra mile. And so he had been taking care of us for, I'd say like 2 days, and I gave him, I think it was like $10. And I was like, thanks so much for just like being so kind. Because he was filling us in on, he gave us really good tips for like the snorkeling trip that we went on. Just like
he let us borrow equipment.
He did. Yeah. He was like, take these masks that I have. They're way better than the ones that they'll give you to use on the snorkeling thing. He was just so nice. And so I gave him a nice tip. And then he was, even more like, okay, you guys want these same 3 seats tomorrow? Like, I'll have them for you. And I was always like, you're the man.
because we definitely wanted the ones that were covered. And he was literally right after breakfast, we'd walk out and he's like, got them sitting, got like stuff sitting on him, like already reserved. And it was like perfect. But I just want to shout out to the breakfast people, because I am a breakfast bitch. I love breakfast food. And every single day I had like a nice waffle that they made perfectly for, it was like all kind of buffet style. So you walk in, I have like a video because I wanted to remember the food. I don't know why I took a whole video of it. I was just like walking through the entire what would you call it, like a food hall?
Dining hall.
The dining hall. So I have a whole video walking through it. I'll send it to you guys so we can kind of post it. But it was like perfect because I was like, okay, waffle stand, great. Then I would get like bacon, and then I would go make my own omelet. The omelet stand was perfect, but it was always 100% like crowded, always in line. And certain people who complained about their omelets, which was ridiculous. So I'm like, how can you complain about an omelet? It's a fucking omelet. But anyway, they made the omelets perfect. First of all, they were always really good, and you can choose what you want in them. And so I always got that, and the ketchup and potatoes. It was like perfect, literally paradise. And I had that every single day, and I got to sit and have like orange juice and like have a bucket of ice because our waitress bought a bucket of ice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it was amazing because you needed it.
Because we would always like top up our water bottles with ice and water. When we were at the
so you can have it. Yeah, so you can have water and stuff throughout the day because it was just so hot. So it was just like the perfect way to wake up, and then you just go sit by the beach, and then before you know it, or sit by the pool, basically. Go in the pool, like sit down, read, relax, and before you know it, it was lunchtime, and that was like our day.
And then we would spend our afternoons. We started going and hanging at Meaghan's mom's room because she was in over the water villa. So she was like, "Oh, come hang out with me, Carrie, or just gonna be chilling." So we could use their space and walk right. They had steps that walked right down into the ocean. So we went and
go ahead.
we like brought Courtney had these waterproof phone cases, so we went and took just photos of there was some fish and little reef sharks, and we brought snorkeling masks. Yeah, there was like so many creatures. So we'd just go and like walk, because it was not even, you usually didn't have to even swim through there.
It was insane, because I learned how to swim for this trip, and so I was like, God damn it, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys. I was in the ocean. But yeah, it was like the water
out in the ocean on a boat to go snorkeling.
Right? I was terrified, but you guys were like, no, it's okay, you can do this. I was like, thanks, guys.
Like, you've been training for this.
This is what you've been training for. And I was terrified. Then they were also really, really kind, too, because they had like buoys. And for a while, I was holding on, so I was like, I don't fucking know like what I'm doing here. But then I got like, you know, my sea legs, I guess, and was able to do it. But the water generally, oh my God, didn't really come that high. Like when you go into the ocean, you had to go out like a mile, it felt like, to even get water up to like your waist. And for reference, I'm 5'5", so I'm not very brown eyes, you know.
Jesus.
I'm 5'5", so like I'm not very tall. And so I was like, bro, how far can we go to get to the actual like ocean? You know, we wanted to get some motion in the ocean.
I don't remember why, but Courtney and I, we walked like from our room out into the ocean, and we kept walking. We're like, okay, we'll see. Like once we start having to kind of tread, we'll go back.
Yeah.
And then we
you
just
guys
kept
are out there
going.
All of a sudden Meaghan came out. She's like, you guys are dots.
Yeah.
We were like, I guess we could go back. Like,
we never found it. We hit like the buoy.
What were you guys singing out there?
Separated.
Oh God.
Wasn't it a Disney song?
Probably The Little Mermaid.
I think that's
that sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Because I remember like coming out to meet you guys, and you guys are just like jamming, and I was like, what are they yelling about?
These dots over there yelling.
So
it was really hard. But when we went to Megan's mom's over the water villa, we got to kind of go out a bit further, and it was nice. We were actually like swimming, but to get to her villa, we had to take a little golf cart, and those are always like the best parts of the trip for me. So I love like first of all, I didn't have to walk, and then also you got to see like so much more of the island, because it was a whole other side that we just never seen. There was like different types of like little cabanas and all different types of stuff, so that was always really cool to ride in those little golf cart things, and they were whipping, like they were going fast. Loved it. But
didn't someone fall off one or get thrown off one?
I think so. I think it was
Dawn. I think.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Because they made her.
She was.
Yeah, before she was seated, and
sitting.
they made her go to the hospital on the main island.
Yeah, she didn't want to, but obviously.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to spend one of my vacation days at the hospital. And the resort was like, no, you have to go to make sure.
Yeah, so she had to take a speedboat to the it was insane.
Yeah.
She was happy because she got to see the island a little bit more, like the main kind of island. But also, they had to do it for legal reasons. She was fine.
Yeah, thankfully she's all good. But
we, however, almost died because we were out in the ocean, and then a poisonous sea snake went by us, and so casually, your mom's friend Carrie was like, "Girls, don't move."
She's like, "Don't make any sudden movements," and we were like, "Okay,
what the fuck?" I was like, "What? What is it?"
Yeah, we thought, because we had sharks from the dock, so we're like, "Oh, is it little sharks? Like, do we need to be careful?" She was like, "No, there's like a sea snake nearby." And we were like,
"What?
Okay."
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, it's one of those striped ones, and it's like very poisonous. So you guys want to be over this way?" And I was like, "What the hell?" She was so calm about it, and I was like freaking out, but I couldn't freak out too much because she was so calm. So I was like,
Carrie's so big into animals. She's like,
shout out to her, because we would have stepped right into it.
Yeah,
we were pretty much
clocked
walking
it
over
right away.
So
and we'd have been dead within minutes probably. But yeah, we saw so many creatures. Like, for all the animals we saw, there were like stingrays that we were able to like see.
That was cool. I loved little reef sharks. I wanted to swim with them, but they always swam away before I could get to them.
He went on a whole journey to find the reef.
I know. I was
They
like,
were so cute.
They were so cute.
We saw so many different fish.
Yeah, we got to swim with all the little fishies.
We saw a little gill from Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
He was cool.
Yeah.
Even like LA, like obviously the beaches here, they don't have fish and like you don't see the fish. And so it was my first time actually in the ocean amongst sea life. And we had got snorkel equipment, so we were even snorkeling like at Meaghan's mom's villa and like seeing all the little fishies. Meaghan's mom had a couple fishies that like lived at her villa that were just always there.
That just hung out.
It was so cool. And of course, the turtles.
Yes.
We spent, God, how long did we, so that we found a turtle one of our last days. We named him Curtis. And we followed this turtle for what, probably 2 hours?
Yeah.
We held back and he was just going from little area to little area, just snacking,
having a good time,
eating, and we were just in awe of this turtle. We just kind of had a little ring around him and just sit and watching him, and then he'd like hang out for a bit, then he'd kind of swim, and we'd let him swim away, and then he'd go just a little ways away, so we'd like, okay, now we're gonna slowly make our approach to where he's at now. It was so cool to just sit and watch him in his natural little hungry mood.
He said, I like this patch of grass, now I'll go to this one.
Yeah, we would be standing out there just kind of looking down in the water, and we would see turtles come up for air, and then we'd try to walk over.
And we would just start giggling. We'd get so excited. We're like, oh my God, did you see that one? And we get so excited.
And then this guy we saw come up, and then he swam. I think it was really close to Courtney, and then just stayed.
Just chilled. I was like, oh my God, guys.
We just kind of walked back and forth in front of the villas, like keeping our eye. We had our phones, so we'd like take a photo every once in a while. We passed around the goggles so we could all look underwater and watch him eat.
Yeah.
Like he'd just chill, and he'd come up, he'd get some air, like show off his shell a little bit, and then go back to a new patch. And it was like indescribable.
It was the coolest thing. We had a actual sea turtle in our own habitat at our feet. Like we were that close.
Yeah.
And he was just fun. Like he was so used to having people around, and he didn't even like care that we were. I feel like we just had a bond, you know.
We were also respectful of the turtle.
I was just gonna say, we weren't loud. We didn't try to touch it. We didn't try to get too close. Like he would come to us.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, we didn't like for a trip, the one inclusive activity we got was a snorkel trip. So you would just sign up for whatever time, and then there'd be, what was it, probably 20, 25 of us on the boat?
Yeah, about that much. It was a nice sized boat. They kind of like passed out equipment, and luckily for us, we had some like full face mask
courtesy of our
snorkels.
Favorite pool guy.
Yeah, and they were so easy to. I feel like if I had the other ones, it would have been so super hard for me to focus on breathing. But since I didn't have to like have anything in my mouth, or
because this one had just had like a little, almost like a unicorn horn at the top of your head that just poked out of the water to breathe. It was so nice.
It was really nice.
It was so good. The visibility, everything.
Yeah.
So thankful for him. But like we had a good amount of people, and we had a lot of people that we knew, but we had some people that were on the vacation that weren't a part of our group, and it was very clear that they weren't a part of our group, or because one in particular was an influencer somewhere in where was she was from again? Like Russia,
I think so.
Yeah, Eastern Europe.
Yeah, this little girl, which I don't know how old she is, but she had a full set of box braids that was like insane. Cultural appropriation aside, she also had very much like work done, and she was very blasé about manners or personal space.
Yes. She turned our boat ride out to the like spot we were gonna snorkel into like a personal photo shoot. So the person that she was with was just taking pictures of her, and she was like in the door of the boat doing like yoga poses and
had her legs
like laying
wide
on the floor. and everyone on the boat
wind.
is just like making
coochie out.
awkward eye contact with each other. Like, what is happening now?
All the employees had to like walk around her to do their job.
Yeah.
And we were all like looking at each other just very uncomfortable, because keep in mind, we're all sitting and it's a big space in the middle, and we're just having to stare at this girl with her legs up, coochie to the wind, and the people having to walk around her, and we were just like, what the like, we're being punked. It felt like Ashton was going to come out.
Seriously.
It was so surreal. We all just kept staring at each other like, do we say something? Like, what
I was like, are you guys also seeing this, or is this like a weird hallucination?
And it was like
felt like a hallucination.
Like a less than 10-minute boat ride. They took you out to like a really deep part of the ocean where there was a reef and stuff.
Yeah.
So she was like, I'm getting on that boat with a mission. So she was like posing with her goggles and flippers certain ways. It was a whole thing.
And they kept asking her like, please don't wear the flippers on the boat.
On the boat.
Like, don't walk around in them. She kept putting them on and walking around, and they kept having to be like, please don't. Like, you're going to mess up the flippers.
She went and sat during the like doorway where we like jump off, and they had to keep telling her like, girl, be careful, because like that's open.
Fall out.
Can fall out. And of course she was taking pictures all through there, and they had to be like, okay, ma'am, like,
this is
please, this is dangerous.
So then we go snorkel, which is really cool. We saw a bunch of schools of fish.
Yeah, I had a minor freak out. We talked about what the girls had to kind of like convince me to go and do. A lot of people did stay behind after we saw the ocean. A lot of people were like, you know what, I'll stay on the boat, which is totally fine. And so I was like, you know what, I might stay on the boat, because I had recently just learned how to swim. So I was like, do I do this? But thankfully the girls helped me, and so we had to physically jump into the water, and that was terrifying. But shout out to all the people on the boat who had buoys out there and like were there to kind of help us. And I was scared I wasn't gonna rise up, but I floated up to the top. And someone grabbed me, and I was like, thank you.
Once Courtney popped up, like she jumped in and popped up, she was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah,
I can do this.
Yeah. The jump was intimidating. Like,
it was higher up than I expected. Even,
you guys were like, we understand if you stay behind, because it is kind of.
Yeah, we were like, scary. We know you can do it, but don't like if you're gonna psych yourself out and then get panicked when you get in the water. Like this vacation is about having a good time, not
exactly
doing anything too crazy. So Courtney was like, you guys go, I'll like see how I feel. And so I jumped in first, and then Kaylee, and then we were kind of I know, I was like, get me off this boat now. Get me in the water. And so we kept kind of like turning back, and we were like, did Courtney get in? And we like saw you jump in, and we were like,
yeah.
We're so excited.
I did it.
I got pictures of you climbing back into the boat, because I was like, I'll go first so I can like document you coming back.
It was an amazing experience. I'm so happy that I did it, and that
so proud of you.
Me too.
Thank you. I'm so happy that I had you guys there with me, because I probably would have just chickened out, but being there and being around, and the group we had too was amazing, because we had some other girls that weren't super strong swimmers, or I think we had a couple that couldn't swim at all, and they even did it too. So that's like amazing. So I held on, and like the guy kind of helped us swim a little bit, which was really cool.
It was a little bit of a stronger current than I would have expected. I was like, if I was a new swimmer, I would be a little bit worried. So I'm glad that they had someone who's clearly very strong with the buoys, making sure that no one was floating away.
Yeah, it was amazing, and we saw so much, and like I don't think I'll ever have an experience like that ever again, but once in a lifetime for sure.
The guides were so cool, because they of course swim there a lot, so they pointed us in directions to go around the reef, point out particular creatures for us to be able to see from our like surface level, because we just floated up at the top to snorkel. And then we saw a turtle on that trip, which was a couple days before meeting Curtis. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're all just like enjoying it. They're like, hey, like give it space, keep it respectful, whatever. And then homegirl influencer swam towards it, reached out, touched the turtle, scared them off. And the guides were like, no,
no. Like, touching a sea life is a huge
yeah,
no-no.
and they kept
like,
telling, like, as
pissed.
she was swimming over, they're like,
pissed.
do not, like, please stop, don't touch it, like, give it space. And she was just like, get my picture. And it was like,
yeah.
oh,
I have
Lord.
a picture of her touching it. Because
Me
I
too.
was trying to get just get photos of it. And then there's her white ass arm sticking into
with her goddamn braids in the fucking ocean swimming. It was annoying. We were all just like pissed because we were waiting to see a sea turtle so bad this entire trip.
And she
scared it off.
She scared it off because she was trying to get a pic for the gram.
Yeah. So that was like, she was kind of the one downer of the whole trip just because we kept seeing her and she was rude to the workers, rude to the sea life, not respectful of like other groups on the trip.
I think it was funny because I think we were in the dining hall at the same time, me and this other influencer girl. And I remember her being rude and walking away or whatever. And I was talking to one of the servers and I was just like, was our group nice at least? Because you can tell he was kind of like annoyed a bit with how she was acting because it was very rude. And he's just like, no, your group was great. It was great. He's like, we get some groups that are, like he didn't want to say.
Yeah.
It was so cute because he didn't
Terrible.
want to say like it was like terrible. But he's like, no, you guys were really great. You know, really good group. We're going to miss you. Because that particular group came towards the end of our trip, thankfully. Goodness. And so he was like, no, we get some of these people. And I felt so bad, but I was happy that at least our group was
respectful.
I guess respectful.
Yeah.
I know we were, but at least, everyone else in our group was too. And so to have him be like, no, like this happens, but you guys were really, really great. Gonna miss your group. And I was like, damn, thank you.
Well, it's interesting. Right before I left for the trip, I was telling my boss at work that I was going to the Maldives, and he's born and raised in Italy. So he, like, culture is very different, whatever. He was like, oh yeah, the Maldives, that's where like rich Italians go for holiday all the time because it's so much closer to Italy. And so, of course it does make you wonder, like, oh, so all of the rich white folks from Europe and whatnot, like it's an easy travel destination for them. So watching someone like this influencer gal, like, I'm sure it's very common for similar people from similar places to act the way they did. Which is too
Whereas,
bad.
like, we were like, it took us 24 hours to get here and a year to pay off this trip. We're just so grateful to be here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Grateful to be able to afford it.
We were all just so happy to be there. We were just like, hi, just like happy and I guess respectful because we're just like, oh my gosh, this new place, these new cultures. How are you? Let's talk about like, we just wanted to engage everyone in conversation and find out more about them and just.
And again, the tipping culture too.
Yeah.
Which we like respected these folks for doing their job. And not everybody has that.
100% because they're slaving over hot stoves and walking miles and coming in on speedboats every morning. Like,
they made me a birthday cake. We got a little birthday cake delivered to my room, which was very sweet.
Yeah, they really.
Meaghan's favorite, which is chocolate.
It was so yummy.
It was good.
And then I actually ordered a separate meal, not part of the all-inclusive, for like my birthday, and I got myself a lobster for my birthday, and it was delicious.
Pasta and lobster. No, it looked really, really good, and it was wild because we hadn't really even felt the need to order off menu ever. Each night there was like different stuff, different offerings for dinner, and it was all really good. So we didn't really need to.
Yeah, if it hadn't been my birthday, I probably wouldn't have. But I was like, I really kind of want lobster. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great because like one of us would try something at lunch, and then the next day someone else would get it because they're like, oh, this is good. Like you got to try it with this protein or these extra veggies or whatever. So we were kind of sharing all of our like good foods throughout the the trip, and trying different stuff, which was really great. Yeah, we just like, we stayed on a schedule, but we got to just do nothing and completely ignore life that was happening outside of our resort.
Was so great.
We got to read and just like visit by the pool and hang out, and it was such a great
gossip
time
and like just have a good time.
Yeah,
you know?
We did so much gossiping.
Make friends with the other people in our group.
There were so many kind people who had traveled together before with Stephanie and her team, and so they gave us good tips of like other trips she's done and what fun that they've had.
Such a good time. We're all still friends with everyone in the group on Facebook.
Yeah.
We keep in touch, and we're probably gonna see them again another couple times with Stephanie. My mom and I are going on a cruise to the Bahamas in July, and so a lot of people that have went to the Maldives are there. So Dawn and George are coming, and they're bringing their kids, so I get to meet them, and a ton of people from the Maldives. So I'm like, Mom, you get to meet all our friends.
Yeah, like everyone was so kind to us too. We were some of the youngest on the trip.
And we were the youngest.
No, there was that mother with her kids.
Her kid, her 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like her kid and her kid's friend or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were part of the problem.
Big suitcases.
I forgot about them.
Yeah.
They had some large ones, too.
Yeah. But, like, they were so kind to us about, like, being best friends and traveling together and not giving a shit about, like, waiting till like honeymoons or we're settled down or whatever. Like they were so proud of us for getting out and adventuring and seeing the world.
It was also nice because so many of them were also plus sized.
Yes.
And so we were all just like rocking our bikinis by the pool and looking hot. And I was like, hell yeah, this is the type of people I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
they would like cheer us on.
I know everyone was like, "Oh, look at your tattoos," and I was like, "Yes, please, look at my tattoos."
Yeah, look at all of them, baby. But they were all just so supportive, and like when we come out in our swimsuits, they're like, "Oh, this is cute. This is a new one. This is cute." So it felt really cool to like model.
Then we had Wiz Khalifa on our trip.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of tattoos,
I swore I thought that was him. I was like, "Yo."
There was a guy who looked very similar to Wiz Khalifa, and he complimented my tattoos, and he also had a lot of tattoos, and I was like, I like your tattoos.
He was covered,
He was covered in tattoos.
It was insane. He looked just like him.
I forgot about
Yeah, Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, there was just so many.
Like, if he was around a bunch of people, like everyone was like ushering him in, and I was like, he has to be somebody.
Yeah, right.
Turns out they were just late.
Yeah.
Getting into town or getting to the resort, but. Yeah, we met people from all over the United States. We got to actually spend time with Stephanie, which was cool because I feel like sometimes with like a travel agent, they don't go. You're not with them, but we got to meet her and get to know her a bit. Meaghan's mom introduced us to Stephanie and this group originally, and so it was cool to meet Stephanie finally and.
Shout out to hanging out with Meaghan's mom too. Like that was really fun.
Yeah,
because I feel like we
gossiped with
a regular mom. She's a cool mom.
Yeah, it was really fun because we only had to we met her a couple times, but to really like hang out in paradise and all those like days, it was really cool. That's our mom, our
vacay mom.
Yeah.
That's our mom now. Good luck, Meaghan.
Yeah,
that's fine.
She's gonna message us after this and be like, "Hey."
I know.
Nah, she's always like, "How are my other daughters?"
Yeah.
Aww.
She wishes us like happy birthdays, like happy birthday, daughter.
Yeah.
So cool. I can't wait to hang out with her again and stop.
Oh my gosh, you guys, my cats are like world star right now.
I hear them.
Just Birdie.
Ring of honor.
Yeah. Birdie's like, I'll challenge you to a duel.
Like, we ended up, like, the timing of the trip was really good. Being able to, like, afford a vacation like that was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever could have imagined we'd go to the Maldives, but
when we saw that it was happening, magical. We all just 100% agreed. We were like, we're in.
Yeah.
Don't matter what's going to happen. Like, we're in. Especially because it was a payment plan. We were able to kind of like get our ducks in a row.
Yeah, and my mom had traveled with Stephanie before, so we knew it was like reputable.
Legit.
It was going to be, like solid. And it was like we didn't have to really worry about anything.
No, all we did was just relax the entire time. Also, if you are ever on your period when you travel to a foreign country, bring tampons with you. Do not buy them at a gift shop because holy shit, they were so expensive and they were weird. So yeah,
be prepared. Yeah, it was really sweet. Like leaving the resort was hard because one, we were gonna have to do all the travel back home, but also just like leaving the peace and quiet and serenity was hard.
Yeah.
And I wanted to cry.
Same.
And we kept saying, like, we had spent all these days together. By the time we landed back in LA, we were like, we've spent 10 days together, 11 days together at this point, and we still were not tired of each other.
No.
Like, we could probably spend forever together, and that was, like,
the golden girl.
Very sweet. Yeah.
Honestly.
It just kind of solidified our bond.
Yeah, because it's like, you can spend so much time and just not feel frustration or anger or want to be apart or anything. Like, even when I wanted to take a nap, you guys were just like, yeah, go ahead and take a nap. Shit. And I was like, really?
It's your vacation? You want to take a nap? Go take a nap.
Like, we know how to work with each other to respect, like, oh, you're doing your thing alone. Courtney needs a nap. I'm going to take a shower. Megan's going to be up early. Like, there wasn't a, like, oh, I have to wait for my group or I need to, like, sleep until everybody else.
When I woke up that first morning, I was like, okay, the dining hall opens in like 15 minutes. My stomach's growling. I know that they're going to sleep, and I know that they won't care if I go get breakfast and then like go to the pool, which was nice to not feel like I had to wait to eat. And I was like, I'm hungry now. Like, I really want to go read my book by the pool. So I like went. I was the only person in the dining hall pretty much every morning eating breakfast by myself.
Yeah. I think like either you left a note. I think you left a note the first time, or you texted us.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, we had kind of gotten like a whiff of you leaving, or a whiff of you like leaving the dining hall and us walking in, or me walking in.
Yeah, we would pass by.
Yeah, you're like, gonna go be at the pool. I'm like, all right, see you in a minute. I'm gonna go eat.
And
it's totally fine.
We generally do that, like, on trips where there's not a itinerary. Like, or when we used to live together, it was just like, you do your thing. We're not going to force each other to fit the others.
Yep, I was usually up first in the apartment, and I'd, like, spend that hour of quiet, or a couple hours of quiet, like, doing homework.
Yeah. And I'd be somewhere, I'm like, all right, let's get dinner ready, and I'm in there whipping in the kitchen.
Yeah. So, yeah, it definitely, it was, like, it was like the sweetest trip to just kind of prove our bond.
Yeah,
I think really cool.
The fact that all of us be individuals, but also be like fit together as a group so well is like something that's normal, but like special for us, you know.
Especially as a threesome.
Yeah,
'cause that can be hard, but we've really made this work.
We've perfected it.
Yeah.
We did, because it's like it's really hard to have like, you know, one person out, especially like, I think when we went to Disney, it was like, okay, so how are we gonna do rides? But it just like worked.
We swapped.
We just figured
who
it out.
sat alone or who didn't.
Or like when you guys were like, we know you guys are talking to me. They're like, we know you want to go on the Incredicoaster. So you go. We'll just hang out at the gift shop. And I was like, are you guys sure? And you guys were like, go enjoy. So I rode single rider. I wasn't even gone that long, but I like got to go.
We ate Dole Whip.
Scream on the roller coaster. Yeah, they like
screamed you on. You were like, there she is. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because again, it was like, you paid to also be on this vacation. You do what you want.
Get on the goddamn roller coaster if you want to get on the roller coaster, man.
And I did.
Meet.
Yeah, you had a great time.
Yes, meet and hug Frankenstein's monster, you know? Although we were all into that. So.
Love him.
We were. We were in the Scooby-Doo game.
Yeah, so then our flights home, like, we were just depressed.
We were just sad the whole time.
We were sad. We were exhausted, too, because then we're going back in time with the time change.
Yeah.
We've got the 16-hour flight as our last leg.
Flight. Yeah.
We were all still so tired of like we'd all kind of like exhausted the movie TV catalog on the flight there. So on the flight back, we were like, okay, what can we watch?
Fuck. Yeah.
No, I made a decision to turn on Morbius
Yeah.
because my brother and my junior said that it was great. They're like, you haven't seen Morbius, you have to see it. It's such a good movie. And I
You were like,
immediately
wrong.
was like, no. If they say it's a good movie, I know immediately it's not a good movie.
But she turned it on anyway.
In films. But I was like, you know what? It's so much hype around it. Everyone's like making fun of it. I was like, let me see how it is. It was terrible. It was awful.
I can't even tell you what I watched on the way back.
Pascal. Hey.
Like, they really just made me mad because Tyrese is in it for some reason. And not even like...
He's always around for a check.
Character. He's in there for a check. And I'm like, you're in there for like 2 scenes. What the fuck is the point of you even being in this movie? Because he didn't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
It was the worst movie ever. So don't watch Morbius.
Watch Madam Web instead. Yeah, I remember that last flight, I watched stuff I didn't care if I fell asleep to. So I watched like School of Rock, Pitch Perfect, turned on Parks and Rec at one point because they had like a few episodes from a couple seasons. So we watched Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase on the way there.
Hell yeah.
Shark Tale, because at the time that sound was popular on TikTok of the little shrimp. So I was like, oh, hey.
You're like, well, don't mind if I do.
And that movie is wild.
It's such like a good movie.
I hadn't realized, I mean, of course I was like probably 7 when I first saw it, like how much of a blaxploitation movie it is. Like,
you really have to watch it as an adult to really appreciate the jokes and stuff. And I love that because it's like a new movie. It's like it's a new movie experience watching it again as an adult.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
Yeah, I was sleeping and eating airplane food and just trying to like get back to
survive.
And we got back to Courtney's apartment. We all took naps.
Yeah.
Then we got up and got Taco Bell for dinner. Went back to Courtney's apartment. Watched a bunch of stuff. Went to bed. And
you
then
fell
had to
asleep like mid-conversation.
I was so tired.
That was the one. I was literally talking to her. And I was like, and I was just talking to myself for so long. And I was like, wait, Meaghan hasn't replied. I look over and she's slumped
with
Marvel. And I was like, oh my gosh. How long has she been sleeping?
Meaghan always at Courtney's house, especially because she's in the central time zone right now. So whenever we're on the West Coast, Megan's out before us because her body clock.
Yeah, because when it's midnight there, it feels like 2 a.m. for me. And I'm slumped.
She's always knocking out on the couch, which is where we would sleep anyway. But yeah, she'd have Marvel, the dog, just like in her arms, roll over a little bit and knock out. And Courtney and I are watching videos, laughing out loud, and Meaghan is nowhere to be found.
And we're like loud laughing and like having a great time. And we're like, "You see this one, Meaghan? She's gone.
She's done.
She's done.
She's out.
Like, oh my fucking god, she fucking did.
Like between us and a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
She's not waking up.
If I'm tired enough, I'm out. I probably, if I was tired enough, could sleep through an earthquake.
Oh,
that's one of my like kind of things about Aries that like I definitely think is right because I've never met an Aries person that doesn't have like the ability to drop dead and sleep and be out for the count for forever. I've never met one that hasn't had that ability.
If I can, if I'm in a comfortable spot, like it's really hard for me to sleep on airplanes because it's really hard for me to sleep sitting up.
Yeah.
So
the worst.
Yeah. If I'm
If
asleep,
she's even kind of like leaning towards horizontal.
Yep.
She's out.
Out. It was tough. Yeah. Then the next morning, our flights were pretty early out of LA to get back home.
Yeah. I had to drive into the airport, and it was a very sad goodbye.
We were sad. Yeah, we were like, I don't want to leave you. I'm not tired of you guys. It was nice to come home though, and it was like 40 degrees and raining. I was like, oh my god, a breath of fresh air.
Even LA, be like walking out and being like, oh, it's 70 and not humid. Great.
Yeah. I'm not drenched.
Not an oven. Not drenched immediately as I walk outside. Insane.
It was nice, but yeah, we definitely.
I feel like
we were sad.
Every time we leave each other, we always cry at the airport. There's always at least a couple tears.
There's a bunch of sensitive assholes, as Courtney's mom would say.
Yes,
we really are. So I don't think we get tired of each other.
No.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
possible.
Meaghan and I was just in South Dakota with her, and we spent 5 days just like doing nothing, which was great.
It's nice.
And then, yeah, leaving was tough, but then it was like, only a couple months till our next planned event. And hopefully, we'll be closer in location and maybe even living together this fall. So we always have to have something on the calendar for the three of us.
Oh yeah, if there's not something on the calendar, I feel
lost.
Off, yeah.
Yeah, lost
like, what am I even working toward?
I guess
what's the point? If I can't scuba.
If I can't scuba.
Exactly.
We'll have to call this episode that.
Yeah.
I can't scuba. What's the
song?
They had scuba classes at the resort, and part of me was like, if we were here for longer, I think I would have tried to do like the day class that teaches you how to scuba dive. But I was like, I love not having anything on our agenda to do.
Yeah. I was a little bitch about it too. I was like, I don't know if I'm up to that level, but part of me was like, should I try?
Fuck it, why not?
Why not?
Who else has learned how to scuba dive in the Maldives?
Right? Like, come on. I think we should wrap up by telling everyone kind of like our group plans for the next time.
No.
Yes.
We are going to see our Irish husband, Niall Horan.
I get to visit Seattle.
Blonde hair, blue eyes make me go, ooh.
Our brother husband.
I'm so excited.
So, first of all, we had talks of seeing Niall when he announced his tour. He announced it like early March 2020. It was like days before the world shut down for COVID.
Before. Yeah.
So we were like, oh, I think he was supposed to hit Portland and then also near me in Seattle. So
we also
like,
talked about he was going to be in Vegas in between mine and Kaylee's birthdays. And so we were like, Vegas for our birthday trip. Go see Niall.
We had all these plans.
And then COVID.
So he put out his new album March 2020. And then we like didn't ever get a tour. And then he put out his new album, The Show, last summer. And we're like, okay, of course, like he's going to tour. Let's look out for it. And thankfully, he was one of those artists who actually gave us time to save a little money.
Thank you.
I know. Thank you, Niall.
The Irish should get it right every time.
Yeah. So originally I was kind of like, LOL, what if I buy tickets for us to go see him in Ireland? And Ticketmaster was a little bitch and didn't let me.
Ticketmaster was like, no.
I woke up at 2
there
in the
goes
morning.
Our Ticketmaster sponsor. No.
Fuck.
Yeah.
They get all the money.
Fuck them because they're little bitches.
Honestly.
I woke up at 10 a.m. Ireland time to log in for tickets. I had a pre-sale code. I got tickets in my cart, and then it was like, we need an Irish postal code in order to process your order. And I was like, what? So they wouldn't let me. I was pissed. Anyway.
So now we're seeing him in Seattle.
It's great because Courtney hasn't been up here since like
March Madness.
Forever.
The summer
she
before.
Did visit, huh?
Like between junior and senior year.
Yeah.
Because we had a couple week period we had to be out of our apartment building. So Courtney came and
go home, so I
roomed at my mom's house.
Shout out to Sam.
Shout out Sam.
Shout out Sam.
But now like she hasn't seen this apartment I've been in. She hasn't met my cats.
No.
So and Meaghan has to meet Pascal. So it'll be a very momentous trip.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, we're gonna go sing our heads off and see our husband and probably do some touristy stuff, which will be really nice. Seattle in July is like perfect weather. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, especially since Courtney had to miss out on South Dakota. So I'm excited, really excited to see her and hug her.
I know, because it'll be like almost a year since we will have seen Courtney. Yeah. And I will not stand for this.
Well, it was September.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So 10 months?
Yeah.
No, that's insane.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah, we've got that. And then we're hoping to maybe plan a trip in the fall. But I think that's kind of dependent on the job market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
We've had this Nile trip on the books. I don't know. I bought tickets like last summer. So,
yeah.
I think it was almost a year ago because I think you got tickets soon after we got back from the Maldives.
Yeah, I was like Jonas Brothers and Niall Horan tickets in the same 2-week span
That's
or something
right.
crazy.
Yeah, maybe that's what
It
I
was
was just
wild.
like,
I was like, shit, let me hustle up some money.
yeah, I was like, I'm at my desk. I got pre-sale codes. Like, we're doing this.
Let's go.
So, yeah, we're just going to keep adventuring and doing our thing. And then our group trip to Scotland is next October.
Yeah.
So
Whoop, whoop.
that'll be cool. I have been to London, but not Scotland. Courtney, did you go to Scotland at all?
No, I've been to Scotland.
I've been to
So-
Edinburgh,
I had
and I am
plans
so
to
excited.
visit everywhere, but then COVID happened and I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we, and that'll be with Stephanie's group. It'll be cool to, oh, bless you, sir.
Yeah, everyone. Ooh.
It'll be cool to see like who from our Maldives trip goes on that trip. Stephanie has a few trips in that few month span. So I'm really excited to get back to Europe, see it in the fall.
See London.
Yes.
We all have like, Meaghan
cry.
and I have like really cool friend
So
groups
excited.
there that
Yes.
have Nando's. We all have like, Meaghan and I have friend groups there that we met during our, Meaghan did a study abroad and also her, master's program, and I did my master's program in London as well. So we have like friends and people we can go like see, and that feels so weird, but like cool to say. Like, oh, we're catch up with our London friends. Like, what?
Especially because like I had planned to go back more consistently, and then of course COVID happened. Like I came back end of 2019, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll probably try to visit London once a year. Go hang out with my friends, go see my favorite city, and then I haven't been back, and I miss it like crazy.
Life got in the way for sure. I definitely want to go back.
So excited to get back. I've like messaged my friends, I'm going back next fall, and so they might come visit in Scotland, or we'll definitely try and do like a big dinner when we're in London, and it'll be so fun.
I might get to see my London boyfriend, which would be awesome. I gotta tell him actually. I gotta get on WhatsApp.
Sneaky.
My sneaky link.
Your every few years sneaky link.
Right. It's so random. I wonder what he's up to. I gotta talk to him more. But yeah, I had dated someone in England, and he was so sweet and like came to the airport and everything. So we're still like friends, and he's still like a really great person. So I might be able to see him. And also my other awesome London friends, we might be able to have like a nice little dinner or something with them too. Shout out to my friend Tinu, who's amazing. Like she's doing so good on the food like influencer market.
Oh, cool.
She has so many followers. Like
Sick.
she does shopping with me's, and like I'll have to show you guys her TikTok because it's
I'm gonna follow her.
She's so good. Like, and she makes really good food too that she has on TikTok.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so we get to. I know she knows some really great restaurants, so we can see.
Yeah,
I'm down to eat.
We're keeping group trips on the calendar, hoping to get a lot of similar stamps in our passports together.
Oh yeah, golden girls for life.
Yeah,
golden girls.
Golden girls.
Golden girls.
Well, should we wrap up? I think we're hitting almost 2 hours.
Yeah. I have to like go to bed for my job, I guess.
Oh, so she has a job now.
So you got a degree or something?
So you think you're better than
me? No. Not with this place. Oh, I don't think my coworkers listen. Who cares? They know. Those who know.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, so if you guys will post or repost a bunch of our Maldives content. We took so many photos of each other and the wildlife, and take a look at we have a shared Instagram for the pod at andwewereroommates. Accidentally created a TikTok for us the other day too, which is also at andwewereroommates. So we'll try to maybe put a couple audio snippets or photos together. I don't know. We'll figure out what we want to do over there. I am over on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Kaylee_Ranksdorf. So come check out me and my cats. We're hitting summertime, so I'll be at a bunch of Mariners games. Yeah, that's pretty much me. And then you can see all of our Nile content in a couple months.
Yes.
What about you, Courtney?
Yeah, you can catch me on Pascal. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter is at Courtney. I think it's Courtney. iCourtney, and then my Instagram is iCourtney. So it's a little different there. And then you can also keep you on your toes. You know, that word limit really got me. And then you can also catch me on my blog, which is courageouslycourt.com. I post mental health stuff. I'm going to be posting some more. I know I say that every single time, but I am going to be posting some more about my health stuff and about my health journey. So you can catch me over there. And I am going to be making some TikTok content too, hopefully soon. So you can catch me on TikTok.
Yeah. Amazing.
What about you, Meaghan?
Yeah, I will have everyone's links and stuff posted below. You can catch me at my horror movie podcast, Meaghan's Murder Movies, and I've got that on Instagram and Twitter at mmurdermovies. I'm on TikTok as well. I'm kind of documenting some of the crazy job market stuff, and then mostly just horror movies that I go see. I don't know, I feel like I'm turning into my film bro era, so it may just turn into me watching movies and wanting to talk about them. But yeah, I think that's all we've got. Thanks for listening. Feel free to rate and follow us on Spotify. Really appreciate all of the love and support that we get from the podcast. And we will catch you in the next one. Remember, that's life, you know?